Thanks, Pete. Hany?
I was not on the Business License Tax Committee, obviously, so Councilman Tucker has an advantage over me there, but I think for the most part I agree with what he just stated. I think the Business License Tax Committee had several meetings that they evaluated this issue. It's my understanding just from news reports that the final measure was actually a last-minute, 11th hour type recommendation that was given. So ideally, I would have liked to have that being evaluated more thoroughly and have the various stakeholders provide their input and have a more reasoned approach put together rather than a last-minute, 11th hour approach. But given the circumstance that we're in and the fact that it's up to be voted on, I agree with Councilman Tucker that I think Measure N is the appropriate measure to vote for rather than Measure Q. Back to Measure Q briefly, it has been withdrawn by its sponsor, so I don't know that we need to address and talk about it all that much, but I'll just mention briefly that as a concept, the concept behind Measure Q is a relatively valid concept, to have the burdens that are placed on the city staff and the city budget to be basically paid for by the businesses that are creating that burden. I think the formula is probably not the ideal scenario, as the sponsor has mentioned, and he withdrew the measure, because the formula would have essentially opened up the city to significant potential liability and could have put some of the businesses out of business. But using a different formula, the concept is valid potentially for discussion for a future ballot measure. Thank you.
Thanks, Hany. Steve?